Thank you, Chair. The meeting has now started. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And welcome to Cabinet meeting on the 7th of November 2024. It's just to remind people on the attenders and on the public as well that this meeting is fully remote for this particular one, and that the meeting will be recorded and will be available in the public domain following, or it is live recording, it will be available then, the recording. So I'm going to go straight into the agenda. So first item is apologies for absence. We've got apologies from Liz Burnett, she's actually with the WLGA today. And I know Councillor Mark Wilson is hoping to get onto the meeting. He's actually travelling back from another one. So it might just be that he just, he can get on as soon as possible. So have we got any other apologies? No, don't think so.
Okay, no, there were no further apologies for this meeting.
Okay, thank you. So item number 3 then, which is to receive declarations of interest and the nature of such interest under the Council's Code of Conduct.
Apologies. Can we just go through there was an item 2, which was the minutes of the previous
meeting. Sorry, that would be helpful, wouldn't it, if I don't skip over the agenda. I know it's only a short agenda today, but yeah, let's make sure we got it all. Do apologise. So item number 2 then, which are the minutes of the meeting which were held on the 24th of October 2024. I'd like to move those minutes if somebody could second.
I would second.
Lovely, thank you very much. Thank you, Gwyn. Okay, so now we'll go on to item number 3 then, which is to receive declarations of interest and the nature of such interests under the Council's Code of Conduct, which I don't believe we have any.
No, thank you. There were none received for this particular meeting. Thank you.
Lovely, thank you. So we're going to go to the first item on the agenda. So we've got 4 and 5 there, which are 2 references actually from governance and audit, but I will take them one at a time. So the first item, which is the final draft Vale of Glamorgan annual assessment report, and this went to the Governance and Audits Committee on the 21st of October. So I think it's worth just noting as well that originally this was at Cabinet on the 10th of October and it went down to Governance and Audit following that. I do understand that they had a very good discussion at that meeting and they have actually sent some comments and matters of consideration back to us for the Cabinet today. So I would like to note that the comments and matters for consideration from the Governance and Audit Committee, which was held, as I said, on the 21st of October, is to be noted. And actually, as I stated already, and thanks to the committee members then for their part in the process for reducing the annual self-assessment and ensuring its robustness. The final draft annual self-assessment report will now go on to full council for consideration and approval in early December. So I have got a few recommendations from the comments that they sent up to us. I noticed, Eddie, you had your hand up. Did you want to speak at this point?
No, thanks. Leo, I'm just going to second it. That was all. Sorry.
All right. Okay. Okay. So the recommendations then from this meeting today is, and in response to the comments that came up to us, is the relevance of social media polls in relation to engagement on social media continue to be monitored by officers. Secondly, the use of budget tables to explain how the council spends its money will be more widely publicised. And then thirdly, that a plain language summary version of the document has been produced for members of the public. And again, this will be more widely publicised. I'd like to move those recommendations. So Eddie, I think you were going to second.
Happy to second those, please.
Lovely. Okay.
Right.
Thank you. Okay, and I think there's no dissent from anybody. So we're all happy to agree that. Lovely. Okay, so I'm going to move on to item number 5. And again, this is a reference from the Governance and Audit Committee from the 21st of October. And this is in relation to the Corporate Risk Register Q2 update. So again, I'd like to thank the committee for the robust discussion and for their comments from that committee. And what I would propose is that we note those comments and the matters for consideration. And then I've just got a couple of recommendations then following that. So firstly is that further consideration will be given as to whether procurement should be separated from the financial resources risk and be a freestanding risk on the Corporate Risk Register. Secondly, a consideration will be given as to whether the scoring of the financial resources risk warranted a higher risk score. And then lastly, the Welsh Community Care Information System risk and the climate change and nature emergency risk are being looked at as a matter of urgency by ourselves as Cabinet and the Council's strategic leadership team. So I'd like to move those recommendations. If somebody could second those.
I'm happy to second. I'd also like to comment, please.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, in the report, it talks about several corporate risks and things, and the ones my portfolio is social care and health. And I just wanted to go through recognising that within the report, it talks about the demand for social care. Financial viability is a key issue for us. We know there's an increase, and we've also got an increase in real living wage, and also the change in national insurance for employers, and we know that's going to impact on providers of social care. So that is a concern, and recognising that's within the risks. On CR7, we got the WICIS, which is the Connecting Care computer system. We're in the process of getting that changed. We know there's a deadline for that change, and thankfully the team have been working with that, and they're in the process of developing a business case, which should be submitted in the coming weeks for the Welsh Government to look at and move that forward. So I'm pleased that that's happening, but still it's quite a risk, as was highlighted. And the last one was the CR12, which we've introduced, safeguarding. And you can see that we've decided as an organisation to separate the safeguarding, because we recognise it is a corporate responsibility. It's not just one particular area, but it's a corporate responsibility. And there are cases where we've had some issues, and it's clear that those are risks to us. Although on this occasion, although we've got it down as a risk, it's still reasonable. It's at level 4. I just wanted to note, as you mentioned, the governance audit, there's quite considerable discussion. And in the report we've got here, the update, it explains how we've taken on those points that they've raised and what's actually happened. You know, the senior leadership team and the officers have worked them through. And so that's clear in the report. I'll be honest, I was a bit bemused about what's the definition of risk and how that's recorded, because we well know that there's a myriad of definitions for risk. So there is some clarity in the report. So I know that as a council, we're mitigating those as far as possible. So on the basis that you already moved the recommendation, I'll second them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for your input there, Eddie. Okay, I think everybody's in agreement. I see no dissent from anybody. Okay, so I'm going to move on to item number 6 then, and this is a report for the Cabinet Member for Education, Arts and the Welsh Language, and this is around coordinated admission arrangements scheme 27 to 28. So I'm going to hand over to you, Rhiannon.
Thank you for that. So this report seeks permission from Cabinet to consult on a Vale of Glamorgan coordinated admissions arrangement scheme for the academic year 27 to 28. It's recommended Cabinet approve the consultation in order to ensure the Council meets the Welsh Government requirement to adopt a scheme by the 1st of January 2025. For some background, June 24, Welsh Government determined the education, coordination of school admission arrangements and miscellaneous amendments, Regulations 24. These place a duty on local authorities to formulate for each school year a scheme for coordinating admissions arrangements for maintained schools within their area, including boarding schools, but not including school sixth form places, maintained special schools and maintained nursery schools. A local authority has a statutory duty to consult with any governing body, which is the admission authority for a maintained school in this area, any other local authority that the local authority thinks are likely to be affected by the coordinated scheme in the admission forum, and the relevant area is determined as the geographical area of the Vale of Glamorgan. For the school year 26-27 and all subsequent school years, local authorities must provide, as part of their school's admissions information, a summary of the local authority's coordinated scheme as determined each year, alongside a clear explanation of the stages in the process of applying for a school place. This information will be contained with the Council's information guide, a parental guide to school admissions in the Vale. Local authorities must have formulated and adopted a coordinated scheme by the 1st of January 25 and by the 1st of January for all subsequent years. In future years, this will form part of the annual consultation on admission arrangements, which will need to take place during the autumn term instead of the spring term as previously, in order to meet the requirements of these regulations. The purpose of a coordinated scheme is to establish mechanisms for ensuring that every parent of a child living in the local authority area who has applied for the school place in the normal admission round receives an offer of one and only one school place on the same day. Scheme should also address how late applications and arrangements for handling admissions outside the normal admission round will be handled. The first coordinated scheme will apply to admission arrangements for the 27-28 school year. A summary of the coordinated scheme must include a brief description of how an application for admission to a school under the scheme can be made, including how to apply and by what date. A brief description of when offers admissions to a school will be communicated to parents under the scheme. A brief description of how applications made otherwise than during the annual admission round will be determined under the scheme, and a copy of the common application form. The consultation for the proposed coordinated admission arrangement scheme will be the 8th of November to the 29th of November this year. The local authority currently coordinates admission arrangements for 8 voluntary partner-aided schools who are their own admissions authority, including All Saints Church in Wales, Llansanna Church in Wales, St Andrew's Church in Wales, St Bride's Church in Wales, St David's Church in Wales, Wychan Marcross Church in Wales, which are all primary schools, St Richard Gwyn Catholic Secondary School, and St Joseph's Roman Catholic Primary School. So the coordinated scheme will bring these remaining voluntary aided schools, St Helens Catholic and Pendoilen Church in Wales Primary School, into a coordinated scheme, creating a fair and more equitable system of allocating places for a number of reasons. These include coordinated arrangements which provide parents with a single school place offer for their child. Parents would not hold more than one school place. The offer of multiple schools prevents other children being offered these places on National Offer Day. And there is often uncertainty as to which pupils will start at schools. A coordinated approach would provide greater certainty for schools of their numbers and for the parents of those pupils entering reception. So I'd like to move the recommendations, please. The Cabinet approve the consultation required to agree a Vale of Glamorgan coordinated admission scheme for all maintained schools in the Vale of Glamorgan for the 27-28 academic year. That use of the urgent decision procedure as set out at section 15.14 of the Council's Constitution be agreed to enable the consultation process on the coordinated admissions arrangement scheme 27-28 to commence from the 8th of November, in other words, tomorrow, 2024. I'd like to move those recommendations.
Okay, thank you. And I'm happy to second those recommendations. And I think just to sort of clarify why we need the urgent decision making, because it's got to be agreed and adopted then by the 1st of January 25, hasn't it?
Yes.
Because we're in line with it. The regulations mean that's got to begin 2 years before the actual academic year to which the admission arrangements relate. I think I've got that right.
Yes, you have,
Yeah. which is, I think, just in case anybody thinks, well, why are we using the urgent action decision? And that's the reason.
Well,
why.
they've changed the dates by which the admission scheme has to be viable. So
Yeah.
obviously we have to make sure that everything is in place, as you say, the 1st of January next year.
Yeah. Okay, so I am happy to second those recommendations, and I think everybody seems to be in agreement with those. Okay, lovely, thank you. Okay, so moving on to item 7 then, which are any items which the chair has decided are urgent. I have no urgent items today. Obviously, this is a very quick meeting, but we just needed to sort of have the meeting. We still need to go ahead with the meeting to get these items on the agenda. So there's nothing else from me. I've got nothing under then part 2 either. So I think I'd like to thank everybody for their time today and for attending the meeting. And see you all soon at the next cabinet meeting. Okay, bye everybody. Well, just stay online actually, I think, until Matt's given us the okay for ending the recording. Thank you.